So Megan, thank you for coming in today and sharing the story of your dog Roxy with our audience. So tell me, what kind of dog is Roxy?
Roxy is a full-blood American Staffordshire Terrier, which is a pit bull. She's a red nose.
And how old was she when you adopted her?
Adopted her at 10 weeks old.
And how long was it before you started seeing skin problems?
About 6 months into her living with me.
And you were feeding her what kind of a diet at that time?
Blue buffalo.
So it's interesting because Megan's a chef and she's very knowledgeable on foods and diets. And so already back then you were aware that dogs shouldn't be eating a grain-based diet.
Yes.
So you intentionally were looking for a meat-based, non-grain diet.
Yes.
And so she's eating this diet and she starts having skin problems. Can you describe what her skin problems were?
Her skin problems were lots of red rashes, mostly on the belly and the inner thigh, and lots of hair loss. She at one point pretty much had no hair on her belly, and her thighs were pretty bare with no hair, and her belly was very red, irritated.
So the symptom that was most disturbing for you was her itching?
Yes.
She just itched all the time.
All the time.
So at 6 months of age, you start taking her into who was your regular veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of treatments were they giving you?
They were giving her steroids and sprays for the itching, and they would help. But once the spray was gone and once the steroid was gone, it would just a vicious cycle. And then I'd go back and I'd spend so much money on Roxy, hundreds, thousands of dollars probably.
And you were at the vet's office at least once or twice a month.
Yes, ma'am.
Dealing with skin problems.
Same issue.
Over
every
and
single
over again.
time. Mm-hmm.
So what brought you into my office?
I had got Roxy a dog walker, and her name was Laura, and she had come in to you for her cat, and she had an amazing experience with you guys with her cat, and she had recommended me to y'all. So I came in and I took it for a shot. I came for one vet visit, and I come back now only every 2 weeks just to pick up dog food.
So in a very, very short period of time, you saw significant changes. The things that we were doing for Roxy, we changed her to a more species-appropriate diet, and we helped her with digestion because she had significant leaky gut at that point. And we had her on enzymes, we had her on probiotics, we used some homeopathic preparations for her, and she had some topical stuff to put on her to get rid of the symptoms that she had, but we were still addressing the underlying disease. And within, what would you say, 2 weeks?
Within 2 weeks, within a couple days, the itching had definitely gone down. Within 2 weeks, the itching was gone. And within a month, hair was growing back in places I had never even seen hair on my dog.
That's wonderful. So what did your family think of you putting your dog, and by the way, feeding a large pit bull a raw diet is a commitment.
Yes.
And her mom was very committed to having a healthy dog. Compared to what you were spending on drugs and vet visits, is it cheaper or more expensive to feed her the way you're feeding her?
It is cheaper to feed her the way I'm feeding her. I am no longer bringing Roxy to the vet. I bring her to the vet for her, just regular checkups and regular, shots. She's just doing so much better that with the raw food has just made her a happier dog, more energy. She can actually go out on the grass and play and not be itchy and irritated by the grass. It's just absolutely amazing.
So what did your family say when you told them you were changing your dog to a raw diet?
My mom had known a little bit about it. My dad thought I was absolutely crazy. The factor in which I was even bringing my dog to a holistic vet, he was like, "You've gone off the deep end." Now it has been a year later, and my mom has switched their dogs to a raw food diet.
Because they really saw the changes that you went through and how much healthier it is. Do you eat raw yourself?
I try. I eat a lot more organic. I'm actually a vegetarian, so I don't eat any meats at all.
So you saw the value and it made sense to you, and we talked about the fact that dogs are carnivores and they were designed to eat meat in the state that they killed it in. And all that whole talk about the enzymes and digestion and the leaky gut, all that made sense to you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing your story, and we'll share the pictures of Roxy at the end of our little video here. So thanks for watching. Okay, so this is Roxy Doman. This is October 31st, 2013. First we see huge amounts of yeast in here with uric acid, a lot of rouleau. There's a parasite underneath that cell there. It's kind of wiggling around. We got several parasites in here. There's a parasite, there's a parasite. We've got lots of fungus, uric acid, big uric acid crystals. Lots of parasites in here, more fungus. Oops, big uric acid crystal, big parasite in the cell. Another parasite down here. Got some free radicals starting to form. These are probably early free radicals. There's parasite coming off of here. There's an acanthocyte. This is probably coming out of the colon. And more fungus behind it. There's a big old parasite in there. Look at that. And in here, and in here. A little bit of chylose. And another acanthocyte, and more massive globies. Uric acid crystals. That might be a white blood. This is a white blood cell. Watch this little guy and you'll see him moving. See how he's got like a definite...
Yeah, he's moving.
And he's going this way. So he's going across this blob of fungus into this cell that looks like it got dead and dying in there. This is another white blood cell. He's got something he's eating on him. And you can see him shifting. He's going that way. This one, we're losing him into the fungus. He's going down. Oh that is really cool. You can actually see him going underneath the fungus. It's like he's diving into a cloud. And this white blood cell is very active too. He's out rummaging.
When Roxy presented to me, her primary complaint was intense itching. She had severe rashes all over her body with pustules and hair loss. Rather than focusing on Roxy's symptoms, we began targeting the underlying cause of her disease, which was the leaky gut. Leaky gut is a syndrome that occurs when the lining of the intestinal tract becomes damaged. This gut lining functions like a piece of cheesecloth, filtering the food that's being digested and only allowing particles of the proper size to come into the body. Damage can occur from eating a diet that has chemicals, pesticides, genetically modified ingredients, high sugar, highly processed, or in the case of a carnivore, a diet high in carbohydrates. When these foreign substances enter through the leaky gut, they are carried by the bloodstream to the liver. The liver sees them as foreign invaders and mounts an inflammatory response, releasing products like histamine that create all the allergy symptoms that we deal with. We began healing Roxy's leaky gut with feeding her a species-appropriate, commercially prepared raw diet that is made from 95% grass-fed meat and 5% organic fruits and vegetables. Gut health requires good bacteria and yeast to be living in the GI tract. These organisms assist in digestion of food, they repair damage to the gut lining, they produce B vitamins, and they fight bad bacteria, funguses, viruses, and even parasites. Because these organisms are damaged by the same circumstances that create leaky gut, it is imperative that they be replenished on a daily basis. Roxy was given milk kefir, which is an organic fermented milk, and she loved it. We also put her on digestive enzymes, herbs, and essential oils, all geared to reducing inflammation. Within 24 hours, Roxy's symptoms began to improve, and we noticed she was itching significantly less. This is Roxy's blood post-treatment, and as you can see, her blood improvements reflect her clinical response. Roxy feels fabulous, her skin looks great, and her mom is very happy.